The stars had always been humanity's ambition. For centuries, humans had cast themselves across the galaxy, claiming worlds, building colonies, and establishing trade routes that spanned light years. They were explorers, conquerors, and inventors. Yet, for all their brilliance, humanity carried a fatal flaw: pride. Kalen Thorne had watched it all unfold from the bridge of the starship Vanguard's Pride. He had been a young prodigy when humans first touched the edges of the Iraqian sector, a vast region dominated by alien civilizations older and wiser than any human mind could comprehend. At first, humanity had been welcomed as intriguing newcomers. But the more humans expanded, the more they encroached on territory that others had considered inviolate. Mining colonies on sacred worlds, military outposts near neutral systems, and ambitious terraforming projects. The humans' progress began to appear more like conquest than exploration. The Iraqian Council, an ancient and secretive assembly of powerful species, convened in the shimmering halls of the Sarath Nexus to discuss the human threat. Their deliberations were long and severe. Some urged caution, hoping humans could be guided toward restraint. Others, scarred by centuries of territorial wars, insisted that humanity's expansion must be halted permanently. Kalen had only heard rumors. Whispers passed along the calm channels of interstellar fleets. Yet those whispers soon became undeniable orders. Humanity had been declared a danger to the balance of the galaxy. The decision was clear: humans were to be exiled, their colonies destroyed, and their fleets shattered. No mercy would be granted. It was on the eve of humanity's greatest exile that the first tremors of chaos swept across human space. Alerts blared on every starship. Mining colonies sent frantic distress signals. Entire planetary systems went dark in an instant. The Iraqian fleets moved with terrifying precision, cutting through human defenses as though slicing through mist. Kalen, now the chief scientist aboard Vanguard's Pride, knew that resistance was futile. The humans could fight, but the Iraqians had centuries of experience and technology far beyond anything humans could yet produce. His mind raced, calculating probabilities, searching for any possible escape, any sliver of hope. The Council had underestimated one thing, however: human ingenuity under desperation. Kalen gathered a small team of the brightest, most loyal individuals. Among them was Lyra Vane, a strategist whose mind worked like a supercomputer, capable of analyzing countless outcomes in seconds. Oren Drass, a warrior whose skill with both traditional and advanced weaponry was unmatched. And Celara Quinn, a diplomat whose silver tongue could sway even the most hostile alien negotiator. Together they represented the last hope of humanity. "What do we do?" Oren asked, his voice low but urgent. His eyes, usually steady, betrayed a flicker of fear. Kalen turned to him, calm but resolute. "We go home," he said simply. Home. The word carried more weight than any battle cry. Humanity had long since left Earth behind, abandoning it to decay while they chased glory among the stars. Yet now it was the only sanctuary left, a place the Iraqians would never expect. The escape was perilous. Vanguard's Pride, disguised as a derelict transport, slipped through the Iraqian blockade under the cover of a pulsar storm. Every second, Kalen's calculations danced with fatal probability. A misstep and the ship and everyone aboard would be obliterated. During the journey, Kalen reflected on what had brought humanity to this point. Their expansion had been fueled by curiosity, yes, but also by greed. By hubris. By the belief that no species could challenge their destiny. Now that same hubris had nearly cost them everything. Yet, as he watched the stars streak past the viewport, he realized that survival required more than regret. It required action. Days later, the Earth system emerged from the shadow of uncharted space. The planet had changed in the centuries since humanity had abandoned it. Oceans had shifted. Forests had spread over once barren continents. Cities lay in ruins, their skyscrapers half swallowed by the wild. But in that ruin, Kalen saw possibility, a blank canvas upon which humanity could rebuild, stronger and wiser. Lyra studied the data feeds, scanning for anomalies. "The planet is largely untouched by Iraqian sensors," she reported. Her voice was tinged with disbelief and awe. "They don't even register it. If we can establish a base here, we can stay hidden." Oren tightened his grip on the rail beside him. "And if they find us?" Kalen's gaze did not waver. "Then we will be ready. But first we survive." The landing was treacherous. Atmospheric turbulence ripped at the ship's hull. Lightning storms, remnants of the planet's long-abandoned weather control systems, struck with violent unpredictability. Yet, against all odds, Vanguard's Pride touched down in a secluded valley shielded by mountains and dense forests. Humanity had a foothold on Earth once more. Once on the surface, Kalen and his team stepped into a world that was both familiar and alien. Birds sang amidst the ruins of concrete towers. Rivers flowed through streets that had long been abandoned. Nature had taken back its territory with relentless patience. Humanity had left a scar on the planet, but in its absence, Earth had healed. Kalen walked forward, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. "We are exiles," he said almost to himself, "cast out by the galaxy, abandoned by those who feared us. But we are not defeated. Not yet. Not ever." Celera approached, her eyes scanning the horizon. "We have no allies. The rest of human space is gone. Our colonies destroyed. Entire fleets shattered. We are alone." "Yes," Kalen replied, "alone but not powerless. The galaxy may have turned against us, but they have not seen what we are capable of when forced into the shadows. Here we can rebuild. Here we can become more than they ever imagined." As night fell over the valley, the stars above Earth's atmosphere glittered with cold indifference. Humanity had been cast out, declared extinct in the eyes of the galaxy. Yet in the darkness of exile, a spark flickered, small, fragile, but unyielding. It was the spark of survival. The spark of hope. The spark of something that would one day become legendary. Kalen looked up at the sky, the familiar constellations of Earth above him. "They think they've won," he whispered. "But they don't know the humans who walk beneath these stars anymore. They don't know what we can become." And with that, humanity's last exiles set to work, sowing the seeds of a future that no one, not even the mighty Iraqian Council, could ever have predicted. The fall of humanity had begun, but from its ashes, something greater was already rising. The first weeks on Earth were quiet, too quiet, some would say. Kalen Thorne and his small team moved cautiously, aware that the galaxy believed humanity was extinct. Every sound, every flicker on their sensors, was analyzed for threats. Yet, despite the tension, there was a strange, bittersweet sense of homecoming. Lyra Vane walked among the ruins of a city that had once been a thriving metropolis. Skyscrapers now leaned at impossible angles, their glass facades shattered, windows reflecting the fiery glow of distant storms. Trees had grown through streets, twisting around streetlights and roadways. Nature had reclaimed the land, and in that reclamation lay opportunity. "This city, it's perfect," Lyra said softly. "Not perfect for living yet, but perfect for hiding. We could fortify this place, build underground. The Iraqians won't find us here, not for decades, maybe centuries." Kalen nodded, scanning the horizon. "Exactly. The galaxy assumes Earth is a dead world, abandoned and useless. That's our advantage. Here we can rebuild humanity without interference, without fear of spies or invaders." Orandras, the warrior, moved through the ruins with silent precision. His eyes darted constantly, trained for threats that might never come. "We'll need defenses," he said. "Sensors, weaponry, patrol routes. If the Iraqians ever sniff us out, we won't survive without preparation." Kalen agreed. "We'll build all that and more. But first, we need to understand this planet again. It's been centuries since humans left it. Earth has changed and we need to change with it." Reclaiming the land. The team split into squads. Lyra and Kalen focused on mapping the terrain and identifying natural resources. Celera Quinn explored abandoned archives and libraries, searching for ancient knowledge that might aid their rebuilding. Oren trained the handful of humans with them, teaching them survival skills, combat techniques, and alien technology scavenged from the fleet. Days turned into weeks. They cleared ruins, built hidden shelters, and established underground bases beneath mountains and forests. Water sources were secured, power grids repaired, and small hydroponic farms flourished in secret chambers. The team worked tirelessly, their efforts guided by a shared purpose: survival, not glory. But the true genius of Kalen's plan lay in the secrecy. Above ground, the Earth appeared abandoned, a planet of ghosts. Below the surface, humanity's heartbeat returned, hidden from the eyes of the galaxy. The arrival of the first colonists. Word of Earth's hidden sanctuary spread quietly among the scattered remnants of human colonies. Ships from distant systems, thought destroyed, arrived in secret. Refugees, scientists, soldiers, and engineers, all united by the same exile, joined Kalen's cause. Each arrival added new knowledge, skills, and hope. Among the newcomers was Tavern Solis, a former fleet commander whose tactical genius was unmatched. His arrival changed the dynamics of the hidden colony. "We're not just survivors anymore," Tavern said. "We're an army in waiting. And one day the galaxy will know humanity's wrath." Lyra, observing the influx of talent, felt a sense of awe. "Kalen," she said, "we could be building something greater than any civilization we've ever known. Not just a refuge, a kingdom in hiding." Kalen smiled faintly, his eyes distant. "Not a kingdom, Lyra. Something stronger. Something no one can destroy. Building the hidden empire." Months turned into years. The survivors transformed the ruins into a marvel of ingenuity. Underground cities stretched for miles, powered by renewable energy and alien technology reverse-engineered to suit human needs. Factories built advanced weaponry, laboratories developed medicine and AI systems, and training grounds forged the next generation of soldiers. The humans were no longer just survivors, they were a hidden empire. Kalen dubbed it the Obsidian Dominion, a name that reflected both their resilience and the secrecy of their operations. Education and culture flourished. Children born in the hidden empire learned of the stars, of the Iraqian exile, and of humanity's potential. Music, art, and literature thrived in secret, giving the people a sense of purpose beyond mere survival. The exile that was meant to break humanity had instead forged it into something stronger. Oren trained the young warriors personally, teaching them to wield both weapons and strategy. "The galaxy will come for us eventually," he said, "and when it does we will be ready. Every skill, every mind, every heartbeat here is a weapon in its own right." Lyra worked tirelessly on long-term strategies, creating plans to expand their influence without revealing their location. "We are invisible," she told Kalen. "And in invisibility lies power. The galaxy believes we are gone. We will use that to our advantage." Hope in exile. Kalen often stood atop the hidden observatories, looking at the stars that had once rejected humanity. He felt both sorrow and hope. The fall of humanity had been catastrophic. Entire colonies had been destroyed. Fleets had been shattered. Families had been lost. And yet, here in exile he saw potential beyond imagination. Celera, standing beside him one evening, spoke softly. "Do you think the galaxy will ever understand what we've built?" Kalen shook his head. "No. And that is exactly why we will succeed. They cast us out thinking we were weak. But weakness is only in perception. Humanity grows stronger in adversity. The galaxy will never see us coming." A generation grew in secret, unaware of the horrors their ancestors had endured, yet shaped by them nonetheless. Humans who had once been wanderers, scattered across the stars, now had a home, and a purpose. They were hidden, yes, but they were also powerful, united, and determined. A new beginning. By the time a decade had passed, the Obsidian Dominion had become a fully functioning, self-sufficient empire, hidden beneath the forests, mountains, and oceans of Earth. Every human who set foot on this planet carried with them the memory of exile and the promise of revenge and reclamation. Kalen gathered his council, Lyra, Oren, Celera, and Tavrin, in the central chamber of their underground capital. "We have survived exile," Kalen said, his voice echoing through the vaulted halls. "We have rebuilt in secret. The galaxy believes humanity is gone, but we are here. Stronger, smarter, ready. One day the galaxy will learn that exile was the greatest mistake it ever made." Lyra smiled. "And when that day comes, no one will be able to stop us." Oren clenched his fists. "The galaxy will remember our name. They will remember that humanity was never to be underestimated." Kalen looked at them all, pride shining in his eyes. The hidden return of humanity was complete. The fall had given way to rise. Exile had forged an empire stronger than anyone could imagine, and the galaxy would soon tremble at its existence. The Obsidian Dominion had been born. The years following humanity's hidden return to Earth had been filled with tireless work, discipline, and quiet triumph. The survivors, once scattered and broken, had transformed themselves into a force unlike any the galaxy had ever known. No longer merely exiles, they were the architects of something far greater, a civilization forged in secrecy and honed by adversity. Kalen Thorne walked through the central chamber of the Obsidian Citadel, the sprawling underground capital that had become the heart of the hidden empire. The walls were lined with screens displaying data from every corner of Earth, underground farms, training facilities, and laboratories. Ships, sleek and silent, rested in cavernous docking bays, invisible to any orbiting sensors. Humanity had mastered stealth, advanced weaponry, and alien technology in a way no one had anticipated. Lyra Vane, now chief strategist, stood beside him, examining a holographic map of nearby star systems. "We've been hidden for decades," she said. "The galaxy believes Earth is abandoned. Their scouts have passed by countless times without detecting a single signal. We've done it, humanity is safe for now." Kalen nodded. Safe is not enough, Lyra. We've survived. That was step 1. Step 2 is becoming unassailable. The citizens of the Hidden Empire. Life within the Obsidian Dominion had evolved into a unique blend of survivalist discipline and flourishing culture. Humans born on Earth after the exile had never known other civilizations. They trained as engineers, soldiers, and scientists, their education rigorous and designed to cultivate innovation and critical thinking. In the training arenas, young warriors sparred under the watchful eyes of Orin Drass, learning to master both conventional combat and advanced alien weaponry. You will never face an enemy without preparation, Orin told them. Our exile was a lesson. The galaxy thought it had broken us. They underestimated the humans who survive against impossible odds. Meanwhile, Celera Quinn guided the development of diplomacy and intelligence networks, training emissaries who could blend into alien societies without detection. She taught them the art of subtle influence, understanding that the Obsidian Dominion's power could grow not only through force but through cunning. Even Tavern Solis, once a fleet commander, took to teaching tactical simulations, challenging young minds to anticipate attacks before they happened. Predict your opponent, he would say, and you will control the battlefield before a shot is fired. Innovation in exile. The Hidden Empire thrived not just on secrecy but on invention. Laboratories hummed with activity, developing AI systems, energy weapons, and starship technology that surpassed even the fleets the Iraqian Council had once considered unstoppable. Scientists and engineers collaborated in ways unencumbered by political bureaucracy or interstellar oversight. Kalen's personal project was perhaps the most ambitious of all, a stealth fleet capable of operating across entire star systems without detection. Each vessel was designed to evade sensors, strike with precision, and vanish before retaliation could arrive. The technology was advanced, yes, but it was the humans' ingenuity and adaptability that made it truly lethal. This fleet is not just for war, Kalen told Lyra during one inspection. It's proof. Proof that humans can rise from exile and redefine the rules of survival. If the galaxy ever returns to threaten us, we will not simply survive, we will command the terms of engagement. The first generational shift. Decades into the Obsidian Dominion's secret existence, a new generation emerged. Humans who had never seen the outside galaxy and had never experienced defeat firsthand. They were stronger, smarter, and more united than their ancestors. They knew the stories of humanity's exile, but these tales were no longer of despair. They were legends of survival, courage, and brilliance. Lyra observed the young leaders in training, her mind racing with possibilities. These children, she said, are not bound by the mistakes of the past. They will lead humanity into the stars again, but on our terms. They will not be cowed nor distracted. They will rise as we never could in exile. Kalen smiled faintly. Exactly. We are the architects of a future the galaxy cannot even imagine. Every skill they learn, every strategy they master, every invention they create, it builds a foundation no one can topple. The philosophy of the Dominion. One of the most important aspects of the Obsidian Dominion was the philosophy Kalen instilled in every citizen. Exile was not a punishment but a crucible. Humanity had been cast aside because others feared them, but fear was a sign of potential, not weakness. Celera Quinn often reminded the Council, we must never forget what exile taught us. Strength is meaningless without wisdom. Power without strategy is meaningless. And freedom without secrecy is suicide. This mindset shaped every decision in the Hidden Empire. Resource allocation, military drills, education, and technological development were all guided by the principle of sustainable superiority. Humanity would not merely rise, they would endure, outthink, and outmaneuver anyone who dared challenge them. First contact with the shadows. Though hidden from the Iraqian Council, the Obsidian Dominion did not remain completely isolated. Scouts occasionally ventured beyond Earth's orbit, carefully observing nearby star systems and identifying civilizations discontent with the Council's rule. Through subtle manipulation, intelligence, and diplomacy, the humans began to weave a network of potential allies, others who had suffered under the Council's dominion. Tavern Solis, now head of strategic operations, emphasized caution. Our time is not yet, he said to Kalen. The galaxy must remain unaware of our strength. Patience is our greatest weapon. When the moment comes, it must be decisive and irreversible. Kalen nodded. And when that moment comes, humanity will not simply return. We will arrive as architects of a new order. The galaxy will not see it coming, just as it never saw us survive exile. The Empire solidifies. By the time 50 years had passed since humanity's exile, The Obsidian Dominion had grown into a formidable force. Underground cities spanned continents, hidden fleets numbered in the hundreds, and a generation of humans fully trained in science, warfare, and diplomacy had matured. Earth, once abandoned and forgotten, was now a thriving epicenter of human ingenuity and power. Kalen stood before the council one evening, gazing at the holographic representation of the Empire's infrastructure, fleets, and intelligence networks. "We were exiled," he said, his voice steady and commanding. "We were pushed to the edge, declared extinct, and left to rot. And yet, we are here. We are stronger, smarter, and united. We are no longer a people in exile. We are an empire." Lyra, standing beside him, allowed herself a rare smile. "The Obsidian Dominion is born. And the galaxy will never forget it." Orandras clenched his fists, the echo of old battles still in his memory. "Let them come," he said. "We are ready." Kalen turned to the group, his eyes shining with quiet determination. "We were cast aside. We were betrayed. But humanity will rise, not as victims but as masters of its own destiny. This is the birth of the Empire. And everything will change from here." Decades had passed since humanity's hidden return to Earth, and the Obsidian Dominion had grown into a formidable, self-sufficient empire. Underground cities spanned continents, fleets rested in secret docking bays, and every citizen had been trained, educated, and prepared for the challenges of the universe. Humanity thrived, but they remained in the shadows, unseen and unknown. Kalen Thorne stood in the observation chamber of the Obsidian Citadel, his eyes fixed on the holographic star map before him. Tiny points of light indicated nearby systems, and Kalen traced invisible paths where human scouts now traveled undetected. "The galaxy believes we are gone," he said softly. "They think Earth is abandoned. That ignorance is our greatest weapon." Lyra Vane, his ever-vigilant strategist, approached, her expression tense. "We can't stay hidden forever, Kalen. The Arakian Council is vast, relentless, and methodical. Even if they believe we are extinct, their scouts will keep probing. Eventually they may notice anomalies. We must prepare and we must understand the galaxy again." Kalen nodded. "Agreed. That is why we send our shadows into the stars. Not fleets, not armies, not yet. But scouts, spies, emissaries. Silent observers to learn, record, and if possible recruit allies who are oppressed by the Council." The first scout ships were sleek, fast, and built for stealth. Their hulls absorbed light, their engines emitted no detectable radiation, and their AI navigation systems allowed them to traverse hostile sectors without detection. Piloted by humans trained in both cunning and courage, these scouts were humanity's eyes and ears across the stars. One scout, piloted by Saren Kale, ventured into the neighboring systems where the Arakian influence was strongest. She navigated asteroid fields, avoided patrols, and recorded information on planetary resources, Council patrol routines, and emerging civilizations under the Arakian yoke. Saren's report upon return sent ripples through the Council of the Obsidian Dominion. "The galaxy is weaker than we assumed," she said. "Systems oppressed by the Arakians are already dissatisfied. Entire populations are secretly willing to resist, if given a leader, if given hope." Lyra's eyes lit up at the news. "Hope. That is the key. If we can connect with these civilizations, we won't just be surviving, we could be building alliances, preparing the galaxy for a time when humanity is ready to rise." Kalen allowed a rare smile. "Exactly. The exile that was meant to break us will instead become our greatest advantage. They do not know us. They do not expect us. And we will use that ignorance wisely." Whispers of rebellion. As scouts returned with reports, the Obsidian Dominion began subtle outreach. Messages disguised as natural phenomena, encoded transmissions, and secretive emissaries slipped into oppressed systems. In small, hidden ways, humans inspired resistance, spread knowledge, and established secret connections. One planet, Dravara, had been under Arakian rule for centuries. Its citizens had endured exploitation, forced labor, and harsh governance. When a disguised human emissary arrived, presenting evidence of another civilization quietly resisting the Council, whispers of rebellion began to spread. Entire underground networks were formed, waiting for the right time to act. Lyra studied the reports, a mixture of pride and caution in her eyes. "These alliances are fragile," she warned. "They must not suspect the full scale of our strength. We influence, we guide, but we must remain shadows. If they sense we are stronger than we appear, they may act prematurely, or worse, be destroyed before we can intervene." Kalen placed a hand on her shoulder. "Patience, Lyra. Humanity learned patience in exile. This is the time to observe, prepare, and wait for the moment when we can strike decisively. The first threats. Though the Obsidian Dominion remained largely undetected, the galaxy was not entirely quiet. Rogue elements of the Iraqian patrols occasionally strayed close to Earth's system. These patrols were small, unsophisticated, but their presence reminded the Council that their isolation was never absolute. Orandras supervised the defense protocols. "We must be ready," he said, his voice carrying the weight of countless battles. "Even a single scout detection could alert the Iraqians. They may believe we are extinct, but curiosity is dangerous. If they probe too close, we need to be able to vanish without a trace, or retaliate with precision." To ensure readiness, Oren devised training simulations that mirrored Iraqian patrol tactics. Every scout, soldier, and fleet captain participated, learning how to avoid detection, how to strike swiftly, and how to retreat without leaving evidence. The young warriors of the Dominion thrived under this regimen, their skills growing sharper with every exercise. The philosophy of shadows. The Obsidian Dominion's philosophy became clearer with each passing decade. Invisibility was power, patience was strategy, and influence was the ultimate weapon. Kalen often addressed the Council in the central chamber. "We are not yet the galaxy's rulers," he said, "but we are the galaxy's unknown. Every shadow we cast, every system we touch, every alliance we foster without revealing ourselves, strengthens humanity's position. We move like the tide, silent and unstoppable." Celara Quinn, overseeing the intelligence network, emphasized the subtlety of their operations. "A direct confrontation now would be foolish," she reminded them. "The galaxy fears what it cannot see. Our advantage lies not in brute force but in perception. We will prepare, inspire, and shape events long before the Council even realizes we exist." A glimpse of the future. One evening, Kalen stood on the observation deck, watching the stars twinkle through the reinforced dome above. He thought of the Iraqian Council, believing humanity had been eradicated. He thought of the young humans growing in the Obsidian Dominion, trained to survive, innovate, and conquer. He thought of the scouts traveling through the galaxy, unseen yet shaping the future. "They think we are gone," he whispered, "but we are not. We are the shadows between the stars. We are patience incarnate. And one day when the time is right, humanity will emerge, not as victims of exile but as architects of a new order." Lyra joined him, gazing at the same stars. "How long before we make our presence known?" she asked. Kalen shook his head. "Not yet. Patience is our greatest weapon. We build, we prepare, we wait. But when the galaxy least expects it, we will rise. And nothing will ever be the same." The Empire in silence. The Obsidian Dominion continued to grow in secrecy. Cities expanded, fleets multiplied, and humans honed skills that rivaled or surpassed the Iraqians in every aspect. Every generation knew the story of exile, not as tragedy but as proof of human resilience. Every child learned that survival required intelligence, patience, and innovation. The scouts ventured further, mapping new systems, observing alien civilizations, and planting the seeds of rebellion and alliances. Humanity, cast out and forgotten, had become the silent hand guiding the galaxy's future. The shadows and the stars were alive with human ingenuity, patience, and cunning. And though the galaxy remained unaware, the Obsidian Dominion was ready for the moment when the exile that was meant to destroy humanity would instead forge its ultimate triumph. Kalen smiled quietly to himself. Exile had been the crucible. And from its fires, the Obsidian Dominion had been born, not in light but in shadows. Decades of preparation had honed the Obsidian Dominion into a silent, invisible force. The human scouts had mapped countless star systems, established hidden alliances, and studied the Iraqian fleets in detail. Every soldier, scientist, and strategist had been trained for the one moment humanity would no longer remain in the shadows. Kalen Thorne stood before the command table in the Obsidian Citadel, the faces of his council reflecting both anticipation and determination. Lyra Vane traced the projected positions of Iraqian patrols with her fingers. "Their fleets are scattered, complacent," she said. "They do not suspect that humanity still exists. We have the advantage of timing and precision." Tavern Solis, head of fleet operations, spoke next. "Our stealth fleets are ready. Every vessel is equipped with cloaking technology, energy weapons, and tactical AI. We strike swiftly, hit multiple targets simultaneously, and vanish before they can respond. This is the moment we've trained for our entire lives." Orandras clenched his fists, a fierce fire in his eyes. "They thought they could exterminate us. They thought exile would end humanity. They were wrong. We are ready to remind them why humans are never to be underestimated. Kalen's gaze swept over them all. This strike is not vengeance. It is proof. Proof that humanity survives, that we thrive, and that we will determine our own destiny. Once we act, there is no turning back. Humanity rises tonight, not from weakness but from strength. The fleet moves. The stealth fleet departed Earth silently, slipping through interstellar space undetected. Hundreds of ships, small and large, moved in perfect formation. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, optimized for speed, evasion, and devastating precision strikes. The target was the Iraqian outpost of Valora, a heavily guarded command hub controlling several nearby systems. Though well defended, Valora was vulnerable to a coordinated, invisible strike. Intelligence gathered by scouts over decades revealed its exact patrol schedules, defense arrays, and weak points. Kalen's voice rang through the fleet's communication channels. Remember your training. Strike precisely, disable, vanish, and leave no trace. Humanity does not fight recklessly. We fight smart, we fight together, and we fight as one. The assault begins. As the Obsidian Dominion fleet approached Valora, cloaking systems activated. The ships became invisible against the starfield, moving silently like shadows across the galaxy. No alarms, no warnings, just a fleet of human ingenuity approaching the heart of the Iraqian domain. The first wave struck simultaneously. Energy beams cut through Iraqian defenses with surgical precision. Communication arrays and weapons platforms were neutralized before the enemy could react. Human fighters, small and agile, darted through patrol routes, disabling vessels and sowing confusion. Tavern Solis coordinated the strike from the flagship Ebon Vortex. Target their command hub, he ordered. Neutralize their defenses. Do not engage in prolonged combat. Hit and vanish. Kalen watched the battle unfold on the command table, his expression calm despite the ferocity of the assault. Each move, each strike had been predicted, rehearsed, and perfected. This was not chaos, it was human precision at its finest. Turning the tide. The Iraqians were caught off guard. Their patrols were destroyed before they could send reinforcements. Systems that were thought secure were suddenly compromised. Confusion and panic spread through Valora, their command chain fractured. Orandras led the ground operations, boarding key facilities in the command hub. He and his squad moved with lethal efficiency, neutralizing Iraqian officers and securing critical data. They underestimate us, Oren muttered, scanning the aftermath of each engagement. They never learn. Humans adapt and we never quit. Lyra monitored every movement, issuing commands to optimize the fleet's strike pattern. Valora's defenses are collapsing faster than anticipated, she said. The operation is a success. Prepare for extraction. Kalen's voice cut through the tension. Hold nothing back until the last Iraqian vessel is neutralized. Then disappear completely. The galaxy must not know humanity strikes, only that it exists. Victory in silence. Within hours, the Obsidian Dominion fleet had achieved its objectives. Valora's outpost was crippled, its fleet scattered, and Iraqian patrols unable to mount an organized counterattack. The humans vanished as silently as they arrived, leaving no trace beyond the chaos they had sown. Back on the observation deck of the Obsidian Citadel, Kalen watched reports from scouts confirming the strike's success. This is only the beginning, he said quietly. The galaxy will remember Valora, but they will not know it was us. They will only remember that humanity is no longer gone. Tavern Solis grinned, his voice filled with restrained pride. We've shown them that humanity is not a relic of the past. We are alive, we are prepared, and we are unstoppable when we choose to act. Orandras nodded, his eyes gleaming. And this is just the first strike. They will never underestimate humans again. The aftermath. The Obsidian Dominion celebrated quietly. There was no jubilation in public displays. Victory was silent, calculated, and measured. Humanity did not boast. They prepared for the next step. Lyra convened a strategy meeting. The Iraqians will respond, she warned. They will investigate, send fleets, and attempt to retaliate. We must anticipate every move, every counterattack, and every deception they might employ. Patience is still our greatest weapon. Kalen addressed the council, his voice resonating with authority and hope. The first strike proves what we've always known. Exiled humanity is not broken. Exiled humanity is stronger, smarter, and united. This is the moment we were preparing for. From the shadows we now influence the galaxy. And when the time comes we will no longer hide. Humanity will rise openly, and the universe will never be the same. Seeds of fear across the galaxy. Reports began filtering through the Iraqian Council. Entire systems had experienced disruptions, patrols had been destroyed, and the once complacent fleets were in disarray. Whispers spread across the stars: humanity is alive. Humanity strikes without warning. Humanity cannot be stopped. Fear rippled through the council, replacing the overconfidence that had once dismissed humanity as extinct. The Obsidian Dominion had achieved something remarkable. They had demonstrated their power while remaining invisible. Humanity's exile had transformed into an empire's strategic advantage. Kalen observed the reports with satisfaction. "Let them fear what they cannot see," he said. "They assumed our end. They assumed our weakness. Humanity thrives in the spaces they cannot control. The first strike is only the beginning." Oren's voice cut through the tension, fierce and resolute. "We will strike again. And each strike will remind them why humanity was never meant to be exiled." Kalen nodded, looking at his council. "Prepare for the next phase. The galaxy is learning a lesson it will never forget. Humanity was exiled, but it survived. Humanity rose. And now everything changes." The first strike against Valora had sent shockwaves through the Iraqian Council. They had assumed humanity extinct, scattered, and powerless, but that assumption was shattered. For the first time in centuries, whispers of a hidden human empire spread across the galaxy. Entire systems speculated about the existence of an unknown force capable of moving unseen, striking decisively, and vanishing without warning. Inside the Obsidian Citadel, Kalen Thorne stood before the council. Lyra Vane, Tavern Solis, Oren Drass, and Celera Quinn surrounded him, their expressions a mix of anticipation and calculated focus. Humanity had proven its survival, but now came the critical phase. The world beyond Earth needed to see the Obsidian Dominion not just as a myth, but as an undeniable force. "We have hidden long enough," Kalen said, his voice steady and commanding. "The first strike was proof, yes. But proof alone will not secure our future. We must reveal our existence to select systems, carefully, strategically. We are no longer just a shadow. We are a rising empire." Lyra activated the holographic star map. "There are systems sympathetic to oppressed species under Iraqian rule," she explained. "They will welcome humanity not as conquerors but as liberators. If we reveal ourselves to them first, they will become allies, and together, we will alter the balance of power." Tavern Solis's voice carried authority. "Our fleets are ready. Our training, our technology, our strategy, they are unmatched. We strike where it matters, reveal where it is advantageous, and inspire loyalty and fear at the same time. The galaxy will know humanity is back, and it will know we are not to be underestimated." First contact with allies. The first revelation was subtle. Scout ships carrying human emissaries appeared near a system called Irinder, long under the oppressive control of the Iraqians. The emissaries demonstrated advanced technology, provided resources, and shared intelligence about the Iraqians' weaknesses. At first, the inhabitants of Irinder were cautious. Humans had been absent for generations, and rumors of their extinction were widespread. But the precision of their fleets, the sophistication of their technology, and the clarity of their vision left no doubt. Humanity had returned, and they had grown stronger than anyone could imagine. Celera Quinn oversaw the diplomatic effort. "We do not conquer first," she instructed. "We demonstrate our power, then offer a choice: freedom, alliance, or resistance at your peril. Those who align with us gain protection, resources, and knowledge. Those who oppose us learn quickly that humans are no longer a force to be dismissed." By the time the first week ended, multiple systems had pledged their loyalty to the Obsidian Dominion. The network of alliances, carefully cultivated in secrecy, began to take shape. Humanity's presence was no longer invisible, it was unmistakable and growing. The Iraqian Council responds. As news of the Obsidian Dominion's revealed presence reached the Iraqian Council, panic spread among its members. Fleet deployments were reorganized, patrols strengthened, and contingency plans activated. The Council, accustomed to centuries of dominance over the galaxy, realized too late that they had underestimated humanity. Reports reached Valora, now partially rebuilt after the first strike. Entire fleets had vanished without warning. Systems once loyal to the Council had begun covertly resisting, and whispers of a hidden empire grew louder. The Council's arrogance crumbled, replaced by fear and uncertainty. Kalen watched the reports with calm satisfaction. They believed humanity was extinct. They believed they had won. Now they realized the mistake they made centuries ago. Oren Drass, ever ready for confrontation, clenched his fists. They will try to retaliate, he warned. And when they do, we will show them exactly how humans fight after being cast aside. Kalen nodded. We will strike with precision, patience, and intelligence. But first, we must consolidate our empire and ensure our alliances are unbreakable. Victory comes not just from battle, it comes from preparation, strategy, and unity. Strengthening the Dominion. The revelation of humanity's existence did more than alarm the Iraqian Council. It energized the citizens of the Obsidian Dominion. Children who had trained for decades in secrecy now saw their purpose clearly. Engineers and scientists understood that their inventions and research would shape the galaxy. Soldiers and fleet commanders prepared for the challenges ahead with renewed determination. Lyra oversaw the expansion of the fleet, integrating alien technology scavenged from past conflicts with human innovation. Each vessel was faster, stronger, and more capable than before. Intelligence networks extended to every allied system, creating a web of surveillance and influence that rivaled the Council itself. Kalen emphasized education and culture as pillars of the Empire. The Obsidian Dominion is not just a military force, he told his council. We are a civilization reborn. Knowledge, art, philosophy, and science are as important as strategy and combat. Humanity thrives because we balance intellect with strength. Celera Quinn implemented training programs for new emissaries, ensuring that every representative of the Dominion could operate diplomatically and strategically in any system. Influence is power, she reminded her students. We do not dominate by fear alone. We dominate by respect, by choice, and by ingenuity. A visible force. For the first time in centuries, humanity began to appear openly in select systems. Not to conquer, but to demonstrate capability. Entire fleets would appear, operate with efficiency and precision, and leave systems with the understanding that the Obsidian Dominion now had a presence that could not be ignored. News spread like wildfire. Humans are back, the whispers said. Stronger, smarter, and united. The Obsidian Dominion commands fleets and allies across multiple systems. The Council is shaken. Tavern Solis relayed reports from a recent demonstration near Dravara Prime. Entire populations have pledged loyalty. Entire fleets have joined us voluntarily. They see humanity not just as survivors, but as a power capable of reshaping the galaxy. Fear and respect are on our side. Kalen smiled faintly. This is only the beginning. The Obsidian Dominion will continue to grow, and the galaxy will have no choice but to reckon with humanity once again. The philosophy of revelation. Kalen often reflected on the Empire's philosophy during these pivotal moments. Exile had taught patience. Stealth had taught strategy. Preparation had taught discipline. And now, revelation was teaching influence. We reveal ourselves carefully, Kalen reminded the Council. We choose where and how to appear. Every demonstration of power strengthens our position, builds alliances, and undermines the Council's control. Humanity was cast out, yes, but exile forged our greatest strength, the ability to rise on our own terms. Lyra added, we are no longer exiles. We are rulers of our destiny, shaping the galaxy not with blind aggression, but with intelligence, unity, and precision. Our empire will grow because it is not built on fear alone, but on vision, strategy, and purpose. Orin nodded. And when the Council finally realizes the full scope of our power, they will learn what humans are truly capable of when pushed to the edge. A new era begins. The Obsidian Dominion had emerged from the shadows, no longer a hidden myth but a visible, formidable empire. Allies pledged loyalty, fleets expanded, and intelligence networks flourished. Humanity had transformed its exile into a strategic advantage, turning years of secrecy, preparation, and resilience into a force that the galaxy could neither ignore nor underestimate. Kalen gazed at the stars from the observation deck of the Obsidian Citadel. We were cast aside, he whispered. We were declared extinct. We were exiled. And yet here we are. Stronger than ever, united, and ready to decide our destiny. The galaxy will never be the same again. Lyra joined him silently, watching the fleet moving through the void. The Empire is revealed, she said. And now, everything truly begins. Kalen's gaze hardened with determination. The Obsidian Dominion will rise openly. Humanity was exiled, yes, but now we are no longer in the shadows. We are the architects of the future. And the galaxy will remember us forever. The galaxy had changed. Where once humanity had been assumed extinct, whispers of the Obsidian Dominion now spread like wildfire. Systems that had been oppressed under the Iraqian Council now looked to Earth's hidden empire with hope, admiration, and cautious reverence. Humanity had emerged not as victims of exile but as architects of a new cosmic order. Kalen Thorne stood atop the observation deck of the Obsidian Citadel, gazing at the stars that had once seemed unreachable. Hundreds of scout fleets traversed nearby systems, mapping resources, charting alien civilizations, and guiding allied worlds toward the vision of the Dominion. Humanity's exile had forged patience, strategy, and ingenuity, and now those lessons bore fruit across the galaxy. Lyra Vane joined him, her expression contemplative. "We've achieved what once seemed impossible," she said. "We survived exile, rebuilt humanity in secrecy, struck decisively, and revealed ourselves. Entire systems are loyal. The Iraqian Council is in chaos. The galaxy is beginning to understand that humanity cannot be ignored." Kalen nodded. "This is only the beginning. Power is not given, it is built. And we have spent decades perfecting every aspect of it. Fleets, strategy, alliances, intelligence, and culture. Humanity was exiled, yes, but exile forged an empire. A consolidated empire. The Obsidian Dominion had grown into a cohesive force unlike any the galaxy had seen. Underground cities had expanded into sprawling metropolises, each one a marvel of human ingenuity and engineering. Surface settlements blended seamlessly with nature, preserving Earth's ecosystem while providing strategic hubs for fleet operations. Fleet numbers had increased exponentially, blending human engineering with alien technology scavenged and perfected over decades. Each vessel was not just a weapon but a testament to human ingenuity, stealth-capable, AI-assisted, and capable of devastating precision strikes. Education and culture flourished. Children born after the exile were trained not just in warfare but in philosophy, science, diplomacy, and art. Knowledge was prized as highly as power, ensuring that the new generation could lead, innovate, and inspire. Tavern Solis, now a revered commander and strategist, oversaw the integration of allied fleets from liberated systems. "These alliances are vital," he said. "We do not conquer blindly. We lead by example, protect those who join us, and use intelligence and strategy to strengthen our position. The galaxy sees us not as tyrants, but as a force for balance and justice." Oren Drash trained the next generation of warriors, instilling discipline, courage, and adaptability. "Humanity fights best when it is united, clever, and unyielding," he said. "The exile taught us that. Every battle we face, every system we liberate proves it." The Iraqian Council's collapse. The Iraqian Council, once confident in its dominion over countless systems, had been thrown into disarray. Humanity's first strikes, strategic revelations, and alliances had undermined their authority. Fleets were destroyed, command structures fractured, and loyalty among subordinate systems faltered. Reports reached Kalen daily. Entire sectors were defecting to the Obsidian Dominion, inspired not by fear but by respect. "The Iraqians underestimated us," Kalen said quietly. "They assumed exile would destroy humanity. They assumed our fleet and colonies were gone. And now they see the truth: humans thrive in adversity. We are relentless, patient, and intelligent." Celara Quinn, overseeing the Dominion's intelligence networks, added, "Their fear is their weakness. Every system that turns to us strengthens the galaxy against the Council. Humanity's rise is unstoppable because it is built on foresight, not recklessness." Strategic liberation. The Obsidian Dominion did not conquer recklessly. Instead, humanity strategically liberated oppressed worlds, providing protection, resources, and governance systems that valued freedom, innovation, and unity. Humanity became a beacon across the stars, a civilization that rose from exile stronger than any who had tried to suppress it. Kalen oversaw one such liberation operation personally. The system of Varenthos, long under Iraqian control, had been a stronghold of oppression. Human fleets arrived silently, disabling key command centers and communications arrays. Ground teams worked to secure the population, providing aid and infrastructure while neutralizing resistance with precision. When Varenthos' leaders surrendered, Kalen addressed the population. "You were oppressed," he said. "You were silenced. But humanity was exiled too, and from that exile, we have learned what it means to survive, to rebuild, and to rise stronger. Today we bring freedom, and the knowledge that no one can dictate your destiny." The people of Varenthos erupted in celebration, pledging loyalty to the Obsidian Dominion. News of the liberation spread across neighboring systems, inspiring hope and allegiance. Humanity's influence was no longer secret, it was undeniable. The philosophy of power. The Obsidian Dominion's rise was guided by a philosophy forged in exile: strength through unity, power through intelligence and respect through action. Every system joined voluntarily, every fleet operated with purpose, and every citizen understood their role in the Empire's expansion. Kalen addressed the council. We were cast aside by the galaxy. We were exiled, scattered, and written off. But exile taught us patience. Secrecy taught us strategy. Preparation taught us discipline. And revelation teaches us influence. Humanity's strength lies not only in our fleets and weapons but in our intelligence, adaptability, and unity. Lyra added, the Obsidian Dominion is more than a military force. It is a civilization reborn. Knowledge, culture, and diplomacy are as vital as combat. Our empire thrives because it balances intellect with strength, foresight with action, and vision with purpose. Orandras, ever the warrior, nodded. The galaxy now knows what humans are capable of when pushed to the edge. And they will remember it forever. A new galactic era. With systems pledging loyalty, fleets growing stronger, and the Iraqian Council weakened, humanity had truly stepped into a new era. The Obsidian Dominion's influence extended far beyond Earth, spanning multiple star systems, uniting oppressed civilizations, and shaping the galaxy according to principles of strategy, innovation, and freedom. Kalen watched the fleet moving through the void from the observation deck, the lights of allied systems twinkling in the distance. We were cast out, he whispered. We were declared extinct. We were exiled. And yet, here we stand, stronger than ever, shaping the galaxy's future. Humanity was tested, and now we are unstoppable. Lyra joined him silently, watching the vast expanse of stars and fleets. A new era, she said softly. The Obsidian Dominion is no longer a secret. The galaxy feels its presence. And this is only the beginning. Kalen's gaze hardened, filled with determination and quiet triumph. Humanity was exiled, but we survived. Humanity has risen, and the galaxy will never be the same. The stars shone brightly above Earth, a testament to the resilience of a species once cast aside. The Obsidian Dominion had emerged from exile to forge a legacy that would endure across generations. Humanity was no longer a victim of history, it was the author of a new era. The galaxy would remember. Humanity would be revered, respected, and feared. And from the ashes of exile, the Obsidian Dominion would shape the cosmos for centuries to come.